We're trying to understand the story of the board in a position that you give me and that I give you, and then use that story to evaluate how good it is for either color.
That's right. We're doing guess the eval battle. I've never done this before, but it sounded fun.
So it is best 2 out of 3 rounds, and at the beginning of every round, we will pass a PGN to the other player. We'll mute our mics on the Zoom call. We're going to talk to our community for 5 to 10 minutes, and we're going to say, okay, here's the story of the board. I will present to you, and then you'll present to me. At the end of each presentation, we'll make a guess on the evaluation of our position. The other person will tell us the answer and also give us any other color or commentary if we missed anything, and then the other person goes. Whoever is closest numerically to the actual engine evaluation will win that round. If you would like to put something on the line, I do have like chess merch. For example, like this shirt says eat, sleep, chess, but there's no sleep. I could put up a shirt or two. If you win, then I'll send you a shirt or two for free.
I'll put up some dojo merch as well. You want a hoodie?
Sure.
We'll leave the audio.
Good luck.
Yeah, same. All right, here we go. We're both muted. We're about to get our first position. So here's the thing. We're going to be evaluating, not this position. I just want to play through the game. The game I gave him, by the way, is this Karpov game, Karpov low T8. Okay, so we got some endgame here. White had like 2 bishops. Oh, I think this is from the candidates match, right? I remember seeing this game on Twitter. Oh, this is a good choice. All right, so this is the position we're evaluating. It's white to play. Pretty sure this was played in like the women's candidates match that's going on right now. Of course, the intuition, right, is that we have an opposite color bishop endgame with pawns on one side of the board. So first glance, it feels drawish. And yeah, my intuition would be like, okay, it's gonna be closer to a draw than anything. But this is guess the eval, and I feel like Katie, you know, he's a little tricky. Here's what makes this really hard, is that if the position is winning for white, then the engine's gonna say like plus 10, plus 15. We did have a rule, we didn't mention this on stream, but we did say that we can't have a forced mate. So the position cannot be a forced mate. Because yeah, white's taking on f5, and then, okay, black can give a check or whatever. The king's gonna come up. It's like black has some blockading chances, but the issue is that like this is not a position that black is just like holding, right? Because white's pushing f5, f6, f7 here. So it's like white wins. So at some point, like f5, f6, black's gonna have to play here, but then white can take this one. But then if white takes 3, you know, the third pawn, then it's 3 extra pawns on the king side. But okay, black might have made the wrong defense. You know, it's not clear from this position that white's winning because I don't know what actually happened in the game. Okay, so yeah, this is very tricky because if it's a draw, then the evaluation is 0, but engine might even say like, you know, the position with bishop and wrong color rook pawn is also a draw. But in the past, engines would say like +4, +5, you know? So you gotta be careful. Okay, guys. So what do you think? What does chat think? Obviously, don't actually run the engine, but how would you guys evaluate this position? Of course, it's a little weird to evaluate it from an engine point of view. In a game, it's like either it's winning or it's not, and even if you don't know that it's winning, you're still gonna try to win. As why you're still trying to win. So the human evaluation is like white is playing for 2 results. I thought you need to pass pawns on either side of the board to win an opposite color bishop endgame. That's kind of the like general like rule of thumb, but of course with most chess principles, there's always exceptions and rules are rarely just black and white. But in general, you do need more than one pass pawn. That's the problem here for black. If white ends up winning all the pawns on the king side, then it'll be very hard, of course, to defend. And the issue for white is whether they can actually break through. So there'll be, I guess, some kind of key like thing, like black tries to hold the bishop here, and then white's going to advance and try to run black at him. So something like this, right? This is the issue for black, is some position. Okay, here this. So like this, for example, let's say check here. Yeah, it could be like some Zugzwang idea, like G3 and this, for example. And then it's like, yeah, this position. I feel like I saw something similar to this like on Twitter. So this is an example where black loses, right? Because they're in Zugzwang, no moves, bishop is done. So the question is, okay, can white get this by force or not? I'm not really sure. I mean, that's very hard to judge. Okay, I think we're ready. I think we're gonna say it's winning. The question is how winning. So I'm gonna ask Katie how long we're gonna run this engine for. It's also possible that it's a draw with best play. Yeah, if I don't see the draw, it's very hard for me to claim that it would be just a pure guess. I want to keep it relatively straightforward, and in a game, I would think white is close to winning here. Oh, I don't know. I'm nervous. I don't want to embarrass myself. International master can't evaluate anything. Can't evaluate simple opposite color bishops endgame. What a chump! Equal pawns. How could he think it was winning? Those are gonna be the headlines.
Okay, we have a Slav. This is already territory that I don't know anything about, so I'm gonna kind of fast forward to the end unless there's something crazy that happens. There looks like some fun discoveries here. Doesn't do anything right now. There's a discovery right here by taking back with the D pawn. Now where's the queen go? Goes back. You can trade, but they choose not to. Wow, very interesting. So that if you try this discovery, then you actually lose your bishop. Okay, that's why the bishop goes back. But you trade, and try and trade more off. Okay. Wow. Queen infiltrates, drops a pawn. You keep pushing. You get this check. And we push. Takes with the queen. Okay. Makes a little bit of a lift just in case. So the queen can stay active. King activates. Everything comes off the board. Okay, so we both gave each other a bishop in game to start. Very, very interesting. And this is Anatoly Karpov versus Joel Lautier. It is black to play. So maybe it'll be easier if we just flip the board. It's black to play. And if we count the material, it's 6 pawns versus 5. Right? So black is actually up a pawn, but they're split pawns. So can we sacrifice at some point, okay. Can we at some point sacrifice one pawn to create a pass pawn on the other side? Who knows? It would be really, really nice. Like if black can make every single move in a row for a while, you get the king to c7 and you push c5 and like takes. If you take, you have the pass to a pawn, but white can also bring their king over, right? So let's see, what's the goal? Because there's like ideally black gets their king over here and white's not doing anything, but white ideally, if you try to make your way over this way, white could just go to f6, gobble, move, promote, right? So that's definitely an issue as well. It looks like it should be winning for black, and especially because it's opposite colored bishops. So sorry, same colored bishops. Opposite colored bishops are more often more drawish, not always, but more often it's drawish. When you have same colored bishops, it's less drawish because you're fighting on the same colors. Whoever is the stronger side can usually use that to their advantage. Yeah, okay, c5 right away doesn't work because takes, right? And then the bishop always just gets back in time and they're in the path. But that's why I was saying if we could transport the king over here, it works. Because then if you takes, black's king's always going to stop this pawn, and we're going to run this. But even right now, like the white king is in the square. In fact, if the white king comes over to f6, then this looks even better. But what we need to calculate is if we go here, they have to pass the move back, right? If we go here, and then we finally leave. Are we fast enough to do this plan? Takes here, takes here. Now push a5. They're definitely not in the square, but they can take here, and here with check. So that actually looks good. If black tries to get to c7 and then push c5, that's the idea, like just to get the bishops off the board and like create this passer. Either on the C or A file. This would be here, right? If we want to execute this plan, white's other option is to go and collect and create their own pass pawn on the E file. I think black's winning. I just don't see how this, like, what else can they do? I guess they could try and break through here. I didn't think about G4. Okay, but just really quickly. So we need to look at G4. But really quickly here, even if we allow this, we finally get to C7. they take, we push. This bishop's hanging, so either they move the bishop or they take it. But if they move the bishop, I guess they can move the bishop here. But then now I have two connected pass pawns, so that they can't move the bishops. They have to take my bishop. Take, they take. If they take, I'm running. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No good. Okay, that's draw. That's a draw. We both promote at the same time. It should be a draw. We promote at the same time. I give this check. Take here. Take here, and I actually promote. So actually, no, that's winning. This is winning. Here, instead of allowing me to push, they're not gonna. They're just gonna take. Oops. They're just gonna take. And then at this point, now I play here, and we simply run. And they're not in time, right? If they want to do this, ooh, issue alert, issue. King d7, and all of a sudden it's an issue. So I almost think I have to play king c, king c7, because I can't play king c6 because then when they promote it's with check. So king c7, they still get out of the way. And me getting to d8 doesn't do anything because they have the red carpet. So now push, promote, and promote, not with check. And it's dangerous. White cannot be in Zugzwang if with the bishops on the board, because they always can go back and forth. I don't see an easy way to win. I'm going to say that it's zeros. Even though it's opposite colored bishops, I'm going to say it's zeros. But one more thing, chat, one more thing. The other thing we have to analyze is this. What if this happens, and can they can't really force their way in, actually. Yeah, what am I talking about? They can't really force their way in. But this bishop kind of needs to stay here. So you almost need to like go back this way. Like you want to be able to zoom back and forth. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, yeah, this was tough, man.
Yours is tough too.
Oh, I know.
But okay. I love that we both gave each other bishop endgames to start.
How long are we gonna like run the engine?
I'm open to use whatever depth or line you want to use.
So for the chess.com browser engine, maybe depth 25 is good at a minimum. Stockfish
15 and then Yui.
Yes.
So I actually flipped the board. Since it's black to move, I figured it'd be easier to just look at it from black's position. And the first thing that I notice is that we have same colored bishops. And usually same colored bishops are not as drawish as opposite colored bishops, because you can fight on the same colors. If you're on opposite colors, you can't interact with each other. It's normally a draw because people hold, and that's that. And you can't really make progress. Long story short, bishops come off the board, takes here and here. If I go to c6, well, the e-pawn would promote with check. Can't do that. And if I start pushing now, well, actually, if I continue pushing, king d7, and we're getting hit with check, and we don't have time to go and promote.
So yeah, this position I think you can evaluate actually pretty easily without calculating further, because white's king is in the square of the pawn. So you can just go king d5 here as white. You stop black's a-pawn, and then the king can't do anything against white's 5 versus 2. So that would have been done. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, great point. Even easier to calculate. Because the whole point was trying to get the a-pawn so that it would be further away, and I was assuming they would promote versus they also have the luxury of stopping it and then winning, right? Okay, the other thing was when the king gets here, I was thinking, well, is there an actual issue with g4? Just figured if we just block the king from coming in, just figured we just take. Like, they don't want to take with the bishop, because then I think c5 does become a little bit more of an issue. So they just take with the king, and no one can really make progress still.
Yeah, so this is the game Karpov-Lautier. Basically, the story of the position is that white is actually completely winning.
Oh, no.
So I don't know what eval the engine will give exactly. I think it's probably like +2, +3, something like that. Let me explain why. So the really interesting thing about this game is that if you go a couple moves earlier, the Karpov sacrificed the pawn earlier in order to kind of keep black's bishop stuck on a8. This was the entire theme of the game, playing against this bishop. And he's down a pawn. He has like a lot of compensation here. He goes this like h4, alpha 0 type thing. King g3, like starts the king walk. And then on queen b7, he goes and trades into this endgame, pawn down. So this was the real genius, because it's like he's down a pawn and he goes into this endgame like his queen was active, but he realized actually after king f4, basically white has two threats here, two winning plans that black has to deal with. The first winning plan is bringing the king to c5 or b6 and just winning on the queen side. Right, so if black just keeps his king on the g7, g8, white just walks in, wins the game.
Yep.
The second plan, which probably you overlooked, which is totally fine because it's very instructive and not obvious. Let's say we get some position like this, where white cannot really break through on the queen side. Black is holding, he has waiting moves, he's fine. The second plan is to, let's say, put the bishop on e4, and then play f3, g4. And the point of that, compared to just breaking with g4, is that with this f3, g4 plan, white is actually making a pass pawn on the king side, no matter what. Either black takes on g4, white will recapture, and then we'll make a passed h-pawn, or let me just make some more moves here. Black will have to allow white to take, and then he gets this thing, he gets bishop f3, takes, and this whole time black is just not able to do anything on the queen side, white's just winning on the king side. So that's the issue, is that black can't stop both plans.
Yeah.
Which is pretty ingenious. I mean, this is, Karpov was maestro, absolute endgame maestro. Now we're ready for the eval.
All right. 4.31. It
Plus
doesn't seem like it's moving
4.31.
anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a tough one to put on the board.
We'll see.
Who knows?
I might quickly load the first one. I don't feel confident about it at all. So
Good first round. Would you like to take a turn at presenting yours?
So yeah, again, I was a little confused because I know this comes from the women's candidates match, because I saw people discussing this endgame. Long story short, I wanted to say +3 because I figured I think the position's winning for white. The tricky thing is, like, if it completely winning, then yeah, there's no telling how high the evaluation might go, because I think the engine should be able to just calculate it out until it's like +50 or whatever. But okay, depth 25, opposite color bishop endgame. I figured, like, if white's winning, they're winning the bishop, so it'll be like +3. Intuitively, had I not seen the game on Twitter, then I wouldn't be thinking like, oh, white's winning. I would just be like, it'll probably drawish or something. But then I remember there was like some fancy like zugzwangs, and then I was even able to like come up with a sample line that I thought was interesting, where if white like takes here and black tries to, let's say, keep everything defended, eventually it looked like black was just gonna run out of moves, like f5 here, g3, king goes here, and then here, for example, is a position where black, I think, can resign.
When you let the engine think long enough, it's still giving a slight possibility that white may win. It's not perfect zeros, but it is plus 0.13.
0.13. Oh, okay, so it's a draw. It's a draw.
Yeah, you can give the check on d7 if you want, but you need to get back to the e8 to h5 diagonal.
And then it's holding. Okay, yeah, I was wrong about that. I mean, it was hard. I was metagaming a little bit. I'm like, it feels drawn, but maybe it's winning. Well, you got me. It was kind of the reverse. I thought it was winning. It turns out drawn.
Yeah.
You thought mine was drawn, but ended up winning.
Overlooked Karpov's resources.
So how do we grade that one? Is that just a draw, or what do we call that?
I was 4 points off, right? And you were only 3. So you actually win round 1, despite both of us being wrong conceptually. Like, you did win round 1.
Okay, cool. I'll take it. All
right.
This is what we're gonna have to figure out, folks. This position here. Now we know Simon won the game, but I didn't check it with the engine. I assumed it was a good sack, but I don't know. So he won the game. He sacrificed his queen. So that's kind of what happened. So game went like bishop takes a4, and then he played knight takes e6 with the idea of takes bishop g6. And black played, I think, like queen d4. It was like rook takes f7, and then this one white was winning. He's now threatening this, followed by mate. Okay, but the question is, here, after knight takes d4, whether black could have defended, and if so, what the eval was. Oh man, brutal. No, very, very tough to evaluate the position. And yeah, it is a little bit of a guess, you know, like just what what the engine's gonna say. There's not a lot. White is threatening rook takes d7 here, followed by bishop b5. Yeah, I mean, if black had to go for this, I only looked at it briefly, but yeah, it didn't really feel like there was gonna be a defense here. If we can't take the queen, black is pretty dead, because there's so many threats. Like 96 is a threat. Rook d7, and bishop d4, queen d4. I think this position just looks quite horrendous for black. I got like queen d6 coming, just dark squares. You know, f7 is always weak. Okay, I thought we were down in exchange. No, we're just up a piece. All right, so that'd definitely be winning for white then. Obviously, we're taking white. Like in a game, you just take white every time. But no, let's take the queen. I just don't see another try. Takes. Queen d3 is rook e7 mate. I mean, this position I think would be winning as well. Maybe there's something else, but this is two pieces for the rook, and the king is still extremely weak. Bishop b5 is a mate threat. Whew. Is resigns an eval? Oh, knight g7 mate, I missed. Oh, thank you, right here, thank you. Makes things even better for white. Yeah, I don't see any queen moves. I think the game won queen h4, rook takes f7. Like if check, there's rook f1, and then every mate is still hanging. And check king here, and then everything hanging for black. two rooks on the 7th, but to me rook f1 also looks pretty clean. Okay, David's saying maybe bishop b4 here, bishop g6. Black is calling an ambulance, right, for themselves. This is tough because KD's tricky. He's a tricky guy, right? So like it feels like the position's winning. If we think it's winning and we cannot disprove it, we should trust our evaluation. Yeah, of course. I want to play it straight up. So even if I really thought like KD is being super tricky and like, oh, you got another draw again, I don't see the draw, right? So it doesn't make sense to say, oh, it's a draw without seeing or having a reason. Yeah, I think you got to have a reason for your evaluation. Yeah, after bishop a4, knight e6, I don't think there's really defense here for black. At least I couldn't see one. If bishop b4 after knight e6, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's not mate. But it's close. It's super close. So something like this, I mean, I would also imagine looks very good for white because there's no immediate counterplay. Rook g7 is coming. Yeah, and there's no like bishop f8 defense because just this one it's just mate. It's just mate all over the board. And I think white can also probably just consider taking this, or even taking this first and then take, and then I'm gonna be up a lot. I think take, rook takes. Maybe we take on f7 right away, even if we don't. Okay, I guess black can still castle, so maybe this is something. So bishop b4. Maybe it's not like horrible for white, right? Like maybe black has a way to eke out into something that's it's +2. Oh, here there's queen b6 check. Yeah, I guess queen b6 is a try. Maybe this, and then still playing for the mate. So I'd be hard pressed to say this was like +5 or +6 or whatever. And take. I don't know what's going on here. This would be kind of critical. If white could do this, then I think this would be very winning. But it's not clear to me that this position is actually winning for white. It looks nice. It looks super nice, but it's not obvious. Let's say check here. Bishop c6. Yeah, no, this is not clear. We'll figure something out. We're gonna guess, I don't know, plus 1.5 maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I feel like some way for black to maybe squeak out of this alive. Plus 1.5. Yeah, I'm trying to hedge a little bit. Okay, I think we're ready.
All right. We have King's Indian. Okay. Center gets locked. Okay. What is happening? Chat, are you seeing the same thing that I'm seeing? What? No. No, Jess, no. Get out of here. What are we doing? No way. Okay, Bastian, if you've seen this game recently, you can't share the evaluation, but you can share story of the board elements, okay? Tosh, we need your help. We need your help. We need to understand the story of the board. What's going on in this position? So obviously, there's a huge imbalance, okay? We have a queen, like white has a queen in exchange for 2 minor pieces and 2 pawns. Normally, a queen for 2 rooks is about the same, or a queen for 3 minor pieces is the same. But this is actually 2 minor pieces and 2 pawns. So what is happening? And like, who's more active, right? I don't even know. Like, I literally don't know. This is cruel. Didn't go. Okay. Kostya said that he picked positions where it doesn't matter what the move is, it's still about the same evaluation. So there's not like there's an only move. We just have to actually properly evaluate this. Oh, exchange pieces or play f4. F4. Okay. F4 sounds very much so like something Tosh would play, except Tosh, what is F4 takes, and you have to move your rook to where? Wow, this is so cruel. Okay, our bishop probably might actually end up needing to trade off, but also like, how are we ever gonna activate our queen? Like, do we jump forward to blockade everything? But then F5, and it's like, whoa, I don't know, we're getting steamrolled. Like, I feel like black's about to be the one that's like pushing everything and everything and like bringing the whole army over. Your queen is placed badly. You need to find a better spot and unlock white rook on F1. I agree, Tosh. That's like black is down a queen for just the 2 minors and 2 pawns, but it's like, yeah, this queen's not doing anything, and the bishop's making it really hard to move. So I'm not sure, like, the bishop going over this way doesn't really do anything for us. The knight jumping over this way and then developing the queen, like, what purpose does it serve? That's the question, right? And also, like, what about like sacrificing the rook to, oh well, hold on, like moving the knight and then sacrificing the rook, but they could easily just play b6 and then activate their rooks. So it's like, I don't know, like knight f3, b6 if you're trying to sack the rook to just improve the position. Because really quickly, like if they just do nothing, right? If they play f5 first, can this be beneficial? Like is this better for white now? Because you're slowly activating your pieces, but it's still like this whole avalanche is crazy. I still feel like this knight just lives here forever, not always. Like, how do we deal with this? Like, if we give this up, then both of these kind of look annoying to deal with. It's kind of like white's playing down a queen. Okay, queen c1 here and f3. I feel like f3 just doesn't address the issue of knight d3. Wouldn't be scared of knight d3. Okay, but what about this? Actually, do we really care? Do we really care? Do we care, chat? Like, I know we end up losing a fair amount. Do we really care? After knight d3, exchange first, then queen d1, and knight e4 in the future. What if e4 immediately? F e4 takes. Oh, okay. I don't hate it. I feel like this is getting there. They have 2 minors and 2 rooks. We have a rook and minor and queen. So basically we have a queen. Okay, so this cancels. So we have a queen versus a rook and bishop and a pawn. And that looks better for white. Takes here. Wait, here. We want to take here first. Ooh. Looks safe to take the rook on a1. Yeah, I guess this would be a little bit annoying for black. Without a dark square bishop of their own, we can't really exploit their dark squares on the king. Yeah, but this. So they probably let us take, right? So they probably I don't even know, like king here. Oh yeah, wait. Oh wait, yeah, wait. So they need to bring this back. Take. Okay. I feel like we made a lot of assumptions though. While that the bishop is surviving on a1 for so long, yeah. Chat, I think it's just so like I feel like we're missing resources for black. I don't know what it is, but if you look at the position, we're all in agreement that white's pieces suck, and you know we have all these ideas for black, but we have no ideas for white. Like all of our ideas for white include black trying to help us out with this idea of like knight d3 versus why can't they just keep the knight there? All right, we're gonna fine, not -2. We'll do -1.5, 1.5, just to not go overkill. All right, you're given the tough positions. I like it. This is an imbalance I've never seen. I also didn't think that you might have seen this position as well, because it's also from a very recent game. Are you familiar with the position that I gave you?
Yeah, dude, I'm on chess Twitter like 24/7. So as soon as this game was played, I was immediately aware of it. But I didn't look at it. So you're actually teaching me a good lesson in that I shouldn't just glance at the Twitter games. I should actually sit down and analyze them, because I don't know if Simon Sack was 100% legit or if black had a defense. I didn't check it super properly. It just looked amazing. I enjoyed the game. Okay, but yeah, we'll talk about it. So the position was here after knight takes d4. Right, of course it's a
we both gave queen sacks.
True. Nice.
How did we plan this?
Yeah, round 1 was like bishop endgames. Round 2, queen sacrifices. It's kind of a cool thing for the format anyway, just having a little theme for each round.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is tough because this is obviously a very concrete position. The engine might find some kind of defense, or I was thinking some like weird saving resource, or black maybe can squeeze out into some kind of worse endgame or something. Of course, my human evaluation is that I hate black's position and I don't want it. So I don't know if that's like a numerical eval exactly, but that's my human intuition. So yeah, I mean, I tried to figure out if I could find any kind of tricky defense. So the eval, I want to go with let's say plus 2.5 for white.
It's so good. He's so good.
Really?
Okay, well, so I don't know if at this depth what it's going to say, but that's really close to what the engine said earlier when I toggled it on. But the best defensive resource, actually, if I remember correctly, was after knight takes e6, was to simply give the queen back.
Oh, queen d7. Yeah, I consider this move.
It says... Looks like it's still moving a tiny bit. Plus... Ooh, still going. Okay, like the lower depth said like plus 2.9. So the higher depth is already showing it even more winning. Oh.
Stop the count.
Yeah, it's still going. Okay. It looks like it's stabilized, right? This is plus 3.88.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, pretty good, yeah. I mean, yeah, basically there is a defense. It's just still completely better for white.
All right, so then we're on to this Kramnik-Kasparov game. It's actually a blitz game.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think this is a pet line or a prep that he like just stored forever and ever and then never got to play and then was like, oh, perfect, it's blitz, I don't mind like going crazy? Or is it like, oh, it's blitz, like I have no idea if this is sound, like I'm just gonna sack my queen right here?
Yeah, I don't know the exact story of this one. I think it was an idea that Kasparov like had in mind. I don't think it was like over the board inspiration. If it was, then it's yeah, absolutely genius. But I think he did. Of course, this was in the 90s, so it's not like he had like stockfish prep or anything. So back then you still needed to prepare positions with your human judgment.
So just, speaking of the imbalance, typically when you think of a queen versus no queen imbalance, you're thinking queen versus two rooks, or maybe even a queen and a pawn versus two rooks. Black only has two minor pieces and two pawns in exchange for the queen. It, from a 10,000 foot view, you're like, oh, that can't be good, right? But then when you actually look at the position, or like I was saying earlier, like the story of the board, well, I'm going to borrow a term from the one and only woman grandmaster Dina Belenkaya, who often calls other players pieces like in the toilet, and White's queen is pretty much in the toilet right now, and so is the rook on f1. They're not very active, and they're not really contributing. So like White's biggest challenge is, okay, I'm up a queen for two minor pieces. How do I prove that and like improve my position? Yeah, long story short, I'm not really sure about any concrete variations. Like we were trying to figure out if like queen c1, or like, how bad like was knight d3 like after bishop f5, or maybe there's like g4 resources, who knows. But even if there was like h5 and then bishop f5 or f5, like it just seemed like there's a wealth of ideas for black, and a lot of those ideas would stop White from continuing to untangle. I still think this is slightly better for black, and I'm going to go with minus 1.5.
Minus 1.5.
Correct.
So much better for black.
Yeah, well, yeah, just because I feel like the queen isn't really a queen. It's not, and especially the rook on f1 is just not really doing anything. So I feel like it's just, yeah, like positionally much better for black. I'm scared for that reaction that you just had.
No, great stuff. Yeah. I think you're very close. I think black's advantage might be even a little bit bigger, but I think you're almost exact. I don't know what the engine will say on chess.com, but yeah, my feeling is that black is much better, maybe even winning at this point, like maybe even -2, -2.5. We'll go ahead and run it. I think you're going to be very close though.
That would be nice to steal around here. Ooh.
I think you're
oh no, stop. Also stop moving.
Still going up, huh? Ooh,
it's coming back. Yeah. But I think I'm just beat barely, because it's stopping at -3.1 effectively. It says, but it's 3.09. And what's interesting is I wanted to say -2, and then someone in chat talked me out of it.
Oh no.
And I was persuaded, but that's still my fault. I was just like very close.
No, well, good job. I think the fact that you gave the evaluation that black is better, I think is already very, very good, right? Just to recognize that like the queen isn't everything, the minor pieces are dominating. And it's not like you gave black a small advantage. You said it was kind of small, but 1.5, like that's like definitely a significant edge. So I think you did very good on that one.
Okay, I appreciate it. Well, it's funny because we both missed. For some reason, Kostya, you and I are like in sync. Like we both gave bishop endgames on round 1. We both missed on round 1, like the direction of the evaluation, and then round 2, both of them were queen sacrifices, and we both got the ideas correct. So we're just right in sync, but you're edging me out there in the actual scoring.
We can call that one a tie, by the way, if you want, because I feel like it was very close. You're off by like 1.5 versus 1.4 or something.
That's true.
So
if you want to do that,
win this last one, then I'll call the whole match a tie.
Right. Sounds good. I appreciate that. It does make sense. You don't know who's playing the final game, so I'm very excited to reveal that one.
Oh right. This one is off Twitter.
Are you ready for the last round?
I am ready. Normally I try to evaluate the stuff, but this feels like very, very concrete, right? So we might just have to start kind of analyzing. So h3 would be one very tempting move, like giving up the knight with check, king goes to f5, and then black tries to run the pawn. Do we have to push h2? I think we do, otherwise bishop will come here. So let's say h2, take. Some position like this. Is it winning for Black, I don't know. Yeah, ChessDojo Live, you guys, they can help, absolutely. King h7, good move, good move. This changes things. This changes things. If we did get this, this I would think is winning, yeah. There's just like so many weaknesses, right? Like rook can come around, white doesn't have any passers. Yeah, I'm not really seeing like a clear win for black or anything. We can get h2. Get this endgame. Maybe this is very strong though, I don't know. I mean, this does look annoying. Yeah, so rook h8 first. This didn't look like it was working, right? Here takes, because knight f6 I was thinking white just takes, right? And is in time. So maybe h3 first, and then here. I'm confused because I'm not seeing the trick. I'm trying to, like, is the position supposed to look drawish, or it's like it's actually winning for black, or it's supposed to look winning for black, but it's actually draw. Like, I'm not sure what the trick. It's definitely not like an easy position to evaluate. It certainly feels like it's very dependent on this concrete stuff. At least we know black has a draw. So our evaluation should be 0 or lower. But honestly, I'm struggling to give anything more to black than equality. Like, I don't really see a position where black is actually better here. I gotta think of something. Yeah, my brain says it's equal. All right, we'll go with that. And if it's not equal, then we're gonna learn something, folks.
Hey, we got it right. We got it right. Effectively, we got it right. Good job, everybody. Whew. Oh my gosh. All right. We're staying alive like the Bee Gees out here. Woo. All right. Okay, so basically, Levon said, I got 2 passed pawns. Good luck dealing with this. Oh my god, I'm going to sacrifice and bring my queen over. I got these 2 passed pawns. You have all my material, but guess what? I'm coming in and trying to win. I was thinking like rook e7, but actually it can't be good because of this and this. Like your bishop doesn't guard. There needs to be some defense on the 7th rank, right? It's almost like, is this, do you have to play bishop g7 instead of queen g7? Just hold it all together and then maybe just slide over? Because, ooh. I don't know, chat. Oh, even just this though? Ooh. Dangerous. Is this even the best defense? The bishop comes here, this bishop comes here. Oh my. Yeah, so the issue is that, okay, there's threats everywhere. Okay, I still think that the best option is here because there's just no way that this works, right? Like, this is catastrophic. You need to get something here, even just this immediately. Oh, and in this other line, yeah, this is just so powerful. How is this not like just blasting through winning? Like, black doesn't have anything to do here. I feel like bishop e4 is so strong, like so forcing, that's more important, and we can waste the time later to bring the rook in. I'm gonna say like +6 or 7. Like there's maybe even, yeah, +6 or 7, 6. At least 6, because I think you're gonna have to give up a rook or queen or something. You're gonna have to give up significant material to stop mate. I still think this is the most concrete. Like, how do you stop mate and this and okay, here. Oh, also now. Oh, hello. It doesn't matter what order you do it in. It's so winning. All right, everyone likes +6. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I think we have an answer.
All right, where he sacrifices his knight, right? So he sacks the knight, saying, look, I got my 2 passed pawns in the center of the board, and that's worth a knight. Not only that, I'm also going to sack the exchange. So he's really like putting all his money in these 2 passed pawns, or that's not the only thing that he's betting on. He's also betting on the fact that no one's at home to protect the king. The king is wide open. Like, again, this is another scenario where black's pieces might be in the toilet. They're not really helping the king in his like castle at home. It's on fire, and there's no firemen. Can black survive? And how much material does black need to sacrifice to do it? This is what I'm going to give a completely winning evaluation 4, +6.
+6. Okay, bold.
Yeah.
I like it. Today our theme kind of was like positional sacrifices. First example, white was down a pawn in a bishop endgame, but completely winning because all of the positional factors were on white's side. Second game, queen sacrifice. You definitely figured out the compensation here. And here, once again, white has this like huge compensation, as you figured out for the rook, mainly because these two pawns are just so strong and they restrict most of black's army. Like all the heavy pieces, the bishop, they're just being completely shoved into the toilet by these pawns. To borrow again from Dina. I think your human intuition is correct in that in practice, this attack should be winning for white. And in the game, just quickly show what happened. Navarro tried queen d8. Levant went rook e4. Heading this way, rook e7. And it's pretty much what you said. White just calmly brings the pieces over to the attack. Which I always love games like this where you're just down a rook and you just play like as if nothing's equal material. You're just improving your position, building it up, eventually black was just not able to defend. So it was like rook c8, rook h4, and he takes here.
Oh boy.
And this is just game over. I actually really like this finish. Queen g6 check, rook g7, queen h5, and he's got this threat. And it was game over. Navarro is an absolute class act. He allowed the mate on the board. He's a
very nice
true sportsman. The official eval after queen f5 will run it. I think it might be a little closer down to earth. I guess we'll have to see. I remember it being like maybe 1.5 for white.
Oh,
after
no.
some, very, very sturdy defense. But we'll see. Maybe it'll go up as you run. Okay, it's not completely over because it's equal material. White has a lot of strategic advantages. The king is weak. White's bishop is much stronger. Heavy pieces are better. Not like immediately resigns, but like that's... Okay, that was the absolute best that black can do.
I think I said 6, right? So I am off by a total of 4 and change. So 4.3 or so, it seems like.
Oh, okay. So what was it was like 1.7?
Yeah, it looks like it's not really moving from 1.7.
All right.
Okay. So not too bad. Off by 4.3. Not too great, but directionally, like you're saying, directionally the idea is that it's not very easy to defend despite having more material. I have a question. Did you go through the whole game for a little bit of context?
Just like the last couple moves leading up to the moment.
Nothing I say will impact your decision. You already like had a number, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say even 0.
Not gonna spend a whole lot of time, but the story is that I was playing with the black pieces. And got like I'm sure this happens to you, right? You get a random invite from like an account you've never heard of, and you're like, should I accept this? Yes or no? Well, normally like 99% of the time I'm like, well, I'm not gonna accept this. Like I'm doing other stuff. But this one was an interesting invite because it came from a FIDE master. So I was like, okay, maybe if I play a titled player, I can get some content out of it, like even if it's offline, and like I'll just like figure it out. Well, it turns out he bond clouds, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take the queen, negate the bond cloud. We're like, who cares? This is not a bond cloud anymore, right? We're just gonna go into a normal game of chess. Then I played like a complete buffoon, and all my pieces were completely cramped and trapped and forever just not doing anything productive. So I was trying to get this knight to reactivate, and that's why I like made a loop for my rook. But that was like my whole idea behind h5 and h4 was to reactivate my knight. But I think as you're about to explain, there's different ideas here.
So right, we were playing through this one. I noticed in the last couple moves like white was repeating. Which...
I offered a draw and he declined.
Oh, okay. Wait, at what point?
When he was repeating these rook checks.
Gotcha. So yeah, I was thinking like, so we have this position. Presumably, if black wants to kind of keep repeating, you could go king to g7. But okay, we started calculating, the position. We saw h3 is like very interesting move. The idea that like, all right, if takes king h7, we felt this is winning for black. That's why I would have to eventually give the rook back, and then you get this like exchange up endgame where black's rook is super active. So yeah, we were thinking h3. White has to go bishop f4. And then, long story short, I didn't really see how black is winning this one. So I was thinking it's a draw. For example, like if h2 takes here, I thought this position is very, very drawish. So that was my guess, but ultimately I didn't feel great about it because like I don't know. I mean, it's very unusual in game.
Well, you saw the very unusual path to this endgame.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head. So I was going for this draw here with the king. I think that rook f1, that stops all of the threats. This knight is still just doing nothing. And yeah, I think this is better for white.
Gotcha.
If I remember correctly. And then I think it was like +3 or something. But h3 is the best move. I consistently missed it I was desperately trying to repeat position, and it's exactly what you're saying. They cannot take the knight because this is all of a sudden losing, so they also have to go back to rook f1, and that's their best way to try and stop the pawn. And then if you think about it, like this piece isn't very active. I can't remember the exact continuation, but the pawn's not going anywhere. Everything's kind of paralyzed. No one's really making progress. So if I go back one move ago, perfect zeros. That's all she wrote right there.
Yeah, it's an h3 only move.
Only move. Yep.
Draw.
Correct. Hopefully it was instructive for the viewers, because it was definitely instructive for me. I feel like I learned a lot.
That was super fun. All right, I want one of those eat sleep chess shirts.
You can go one sweatshirt or two t-shirts. That's like a fair, like,
Awesome.
Equal amount.
Sick. All right, I appreciate it. Yeah, very nice meeting you. Have a good one.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you. You as well. It was a pleasure. Have a good one.